to Rogues Gallery Live. This is podcast number 19, show number 19. I'm really excited because we have a very hot topic issue this week that we're going to be discussing among some other things. And before we get started, I want to introduce all of the people in the chat and also in the gallery tonight. I'm really excited. With us, as always, Mr. Jeff Morris. And I guess you're Wolverine tonight, really.
Yeah. What's up, everybody? This is for a Tim.
Hey, I hope Tim's watching. There you go. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, welcome, Jeff. We also, as always, with us, Mr. Lawrence Old Jr. is with us tonight.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on again, Chris.
Absolutely. He is truly the masters of the universe. Or the master, I guess.
No pressure.
That's right.
No pressure at all.
We also have this month's featured collector. That's so awesome. Mr. Dan Dufault is with us tonight.
Thank you, guys. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, Dan. What an amazing video. I've had so much good feedback from that video. So people love your collection. So Thank you for sharing it with us.
Thank you. Thanks. It was really fun doing, and really was happy to do. I was really glad to be asked, and glad it came out half decent because I had no idea at all what I was doing.
Well, you did a great job.
my inner Batman statue collector.
You did a great job. And it shows. So thank you. We also have from Mac Collections, Mr. Mac Main with us tonight.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody has some unleaning statues tonight.
Fingers crossed, that's for sure. And last but not least, joining us for the very first time, if you're not familiar with him, this is Jason from JW Statues on YouTube. Welcome, Jason, to Rogues Gallery Live.
Thank you so much for inviting me to Rogues Gallery. It's a pleasure. I'm honored to be on the show with you. I know you've asked me 1,000 times, but I'm doing it today. No excuse.
We're glad your schedule allowed it, and it's nice to talk to you in person for once. So that's awesome. For those of you that might not know your channel, can you tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel and what it all involves?
Well, basically, my daughter and I, which is interesting dynamic because I don't know of anyone else that's really doing that. We have a show called JW Statues where we put in storylines. We talk about the statue, we do a little background on it. And of course we do some green screen work, and the green screen work is really fun. That's where my daughter gets to shine because she's the actress. I'm just the wannabe actor, but she's the real deal, right? So we have a good time doing that. It's really, really fun. And my brother-in-law, Adrian Rosas, he's the one that does all the editing. So it's a collaborative effort. We're a team, and we make it happen, and we love doing it. And we're just so glad that everyone enjoys watching what we do. It's really, really fun.
So again, it's JW Statues on YouTube and
Instagram.
And on Instagram as well. Good. Are you on Facebook yet as well, or not yet?
Not yet. I do. I'm on there. I use it occasionally, but everyone's telling me to do that as well. So I probably will eventually.
Yeah, people will want to find you. So it's always good to have different outlets to, so it's a little bit more work, of course, to manage it all, but it's fun.
Yes, definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, but I'm really grateful to be here. It's gonna be fun tonight.
All right, well, good. Well, again, welcome everybody. I do want to give a quick shout out to people that are in the chat. We've got Eric Bunio in the house. Tin Man's with us. Ryan Cochran, Danny Spencer. Hello. Try to put up some of these comments here. Again, if you didn't join us on our last show, we are using StreamYard now, so it's a lot more interactive. So definitely leave your comments in the chat. Definitely ask questions. I'll try to catch as many as I can. That way you're featured on the show as well, because I don't want this just to be about us and our opinions. I want it to be about yours as well. Hello to Master Hoarder. Edwin Diaz wants to say hello to Mac.
Yo, what's up? Edwin Diaz, my brother.
Otero. JW Statues is here with us tonight.
Hey, Jason.
Hello.
Another Dan D. I like it. Jesse Hernandez is with us. And Kev's Matrix is here. Let's see if I missed anybody else earlier here. I'll make sure I get everybody.
We need 200 people. We need in the chat today. 200 people. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Hey, that'd be great.
Yeah, I told a few of my followers, so hopefully they'll be watching. We'll see.
That's great. That's awesome. Yeah. I got Joe Caramello, Gabriel Gutierrez. Let's see if I'm missing anybody here that's with us from the start here. Anyway, I think we are good. Oh, the Chump Cast. Welcome. I don't know if I've seen them in the chat before, so that's awesome. But anyway, so tonight on the show, we're going to talk about a couple of different topics. The first one I want to hear from everybody is about the leaning issues. I call it Leangate, hashtag Leangate 2019, because it has really sparked a lot of controversy this week, kind of out of nowhere. And I also want to talk a little bit about the MCU this week. It made a big splash with Disney and Sony talking a little bit about Spider-Man and the potential of him no longer being part of the Marvel universe. So I thought that would be a good conversation to have with you fine fellows as well. So anyway, again, welcome everybody to the chat, and let's dive in. So the first, like I said, the first topic is the leaning issue, and this became an issue with the Prime One Studio Batman Hush. This is a statue. If you're not familiar with it, it's a leaning statue. It's already leaning to begin with. I own this piece, and who else owns it in the chat here?
I have it.
Yep.
I don't.
All right, so Mac has it and Dan has it. Okay, so I know a lot of other collectors. I know like George from MCE also has this piece. A lot of other collectors, and the cape is sculpted. I liked the idea that the cape was sculpted. I think it looked really nice. I think, having it in person, you guys can agree, it's an amazing sculpt. Like the cape looks great. The texture on it looks great. I don't have any problems with the way it was sculpted. But there are clearly concerns that it's heavy. And you guys can attest, how heavy is this thing?
Yeah. It's up there. It's definitely heavy.
It's heavy and it's wide.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good couple feet wide, and it's heavy. And the way that it sits on the statue, it clearly has a balance issue. It's an engineering issue.
So the issue came up earlier this week where some people actually, I've even seen photos where people were actually measuring it. Like they started with a measuring tape of where it is, 3 months ago and where it is today. Mm-hmm. And people started getting concerned that this was now starting to sag a little bit. I can tell you that it definitely fits in very solid. Like, I could see somebody maybe not getting it in all the way if they didn't play around with it, but it's heavy and it will sit in place perfectly. It's not going to go anywhere. So the fact that, the gargoyle, the cape, is up above the gargoyle, and now a lot of collectors are experiencing it touching the gargoyle, and they're worried that it's going to continue to go down and possibly break off or break the statue and things like that. And so a lot of people were concerned. Unfortunately, mine, since I am moving, I have mine in storage, so I'm not able to check mine. For those of you, Dan and Mac, what is yours looking like right now? Have you noticed a lean on yours?
I'll let Dan go first, I guess.
Yeah, I can. Chris, you were talking about folks measuring theirs. I actually was fortunate enough to have taken a bunch of pictures on day one. So when I unpacked mine, I took really detailed pictures of all angles. Not with the intention of having to revisit them later for this purpose, but actually worked out well. And I can tell you that when I first set mine up day one, the cape did not touch the gargoyle at all. And the figure is clearly more upright generally than it is right now. The cape is definitely laying against the side of the gargoyle's head, I guess you would say. And it is it's leaning, considerably versus when I first unpacked it. So it's hard to tell exactly how much tension is on that cape, but a few of the guys have suggested, I know you mentioned George over at MCE, suggested trying a piece of foam between the gargoyle's head and the cape. I've done that, but it's a very thin piece of foam, more to prevent, of all things, scratching. Because I think by introducing a thicker, firmer piece of foam there, or anything else for that matter, I think you're inviting more tension on the cape. And I'm just afraid at a certain point, as the leaning continues over time, that cape is just going to crack. Where, I don't know, but it doesn't. There's no reason for the leaning to stop the way that the statue is positioned. So I think it's a material issue. I think it's only going to get worse actually over time. Not just the amount of lean, but I think you're going to see breakage here in these things. Probably not in the distant future either.
Okay, Mac, how about you? Where are you at with yours?
So the cape is definitely resting on the gargoyle head, and when I first unpacked it, the cape was, of course, nowhere near it. Now, I don't have any body leaning issues, I don't think, but the cape has definitely settled down on top of the gargoyle head. So what I'm worried about, seeing like Dan, is it just the pressure of it, resting on top of that gargoyle head could cause a fracture or a crack that just completely destroys the piece. But what happened is that George from MCE kind of he messaged me and asked me if I had these problems, and I really wasn't aware of it until I came home and I looked at it, and then I was like, this thing is definitely touching on it's definitely touching the gargoyle, and I decided to make a little video on it, but yeah, it's definitely touching. Now I know there's two Edwin Diaz's in here, and there's what he just asked if he should keep the PO, and I definitely think, in my opinion, I think it's one of the best Batman stats that's out currently, and I definitely think it's worth keeping the PO, and I'm hoping that of course Prime One will come out with a solution to fix this for us.
So I'm going to add to what you said there. Edwin does say here, it's a great sculpt, and I can't beat that Hush Batman. I agree. It's one of my favorites in my collection. I absolutely love it. But at $1,000 plus, it should have been taken care of in the design phase. Should Prime One send a replacement cape, PVC, or fabric? That is one of the ideas that I proposed in some of the groups, is a PVC cape. I do want to read what John Pham, who's one of the representatives of Prime One, I want to read what he had posted, and then we'll kind of talk about it from there. But basically he says, "Hi all, we are sincerely sorry for the delay in addressing your concerns about the leaning issues for Hush Batman statue. As for your concerns and confirmations, the factory has performed the leaning test and was very sure that it passed the test before it was shipped out. As far as we understand from the factory, the cape will move slightly until it is stable, but it won't lean and topple unless the cape is not assembled properly. However, we will monitor the situation and discuss it with our factory. We will also try to get more information from the factory to ease your concerns. In the meantime, any feedback will be much appreciated. We are sorry again for causing you guys sleepless nights for so long. As the whole of last week, it was a public holiday in Japan, so our customer service team and I were unable to address this concern sooner. Thank you guys for the understanding." When John posted that, a lot of people kind of read into it like it's not our problem necessarily, it's your problem. And so that really ticked off a lot of collectors. I know Kelvin Lowe kind of responded and he said he didn't really mean it that way. What he meant was that it was more of this is what the factory told us, that there shouldn't be any lean issues. And it's all good, but we're still looking into solutions. So some people were proposing different ideas. One idea that I proposed was that whether Prime One is willing to send it out to all the customers or not, or even have it available to purchase, but I thought maybe a PVC or a lighter weight statue cape would be appropriate. Lawrence, I know that you have the Iron Studios Batman, and it is not a heavy cape. How do you feel about that? I know you've said it before that you're impressed, but I want to hear what you say about that cape again.
Yeah, I mean, that cape really, it's lightweight. I have no concerns about the way that it was sculpted, the texture of it, and it looks just like any other. It looks like it could be resin. I mean, the material itself is PVC. I'm sure that Iron Studios Hawkman, I'm sure those wings that are coming out are going to be PVC. I think that Falcon's wings there behind Jeff are PVC. A lot of Iron Studios pieces has that PVC from their design phase for, I think, this particular reason. I mean, they make some very large scale pieces that have the type of size to it that the cape has for Batman Hush, and I think that they just kind of said, look, there's no way we can do this with resin or polystone and make that work. And so I think that they just bit the bullet, made a PVC, and it's does not change my opinion about that piece. It is a fantastic piece. All those pieces are fantastic. They look great, and there's absolutely no issue with leaning, no concern about breakage, and it's pretty durable. So I really don't have a problem with it. I mean, even if you don't want to go with PVC for some reason, this myth that PVC is somehow cheaper, which I think we had a gentleman on the show that kind of explained that plastic and plastic molds actually cost a lot more in certain circumstances because of different casting that has to be done. But I mean, maybe you go with something like fiberglass. I don't know. I mean, there's certainly different options out there than a heavy polystone type of option.
Like the one from Sideshow, the Superman, the old one. I look at that one every day. It's up here, and I get nervous every time I look at it. I think that one's leaning all the time. Do you guys have that one too?
I mean, this is not necessarily a new issue. I know, like, I have the Batman premium format and the original, and that was a lot of issue where they were worried about the leaning or the sagging of the fabric or the heaviness of the cape. That cape is very heavy. It does make me nervous because it's sitting on a very narrow base. And I have it propped up on like a stand, so that makes me even more nervous. But I know collectors have had that issue in the past where they've had breakage or things that have sagged over time. Do you guys feel like PVC is the best solution on this one?
I think just for the pure size of that cape, because that cape is like it's humongous. So like just that piece alone. I mean, I've got the new Field 52, and it has a sculpted cape, and I don't really see any. It's never moved or sagged or settled down on that one, but it's just the size of the cape on the Hush. I mean, it's massive. So, and it's a huge part of the piece.
So what would you like to see the guys that own it, or even the guys that don't? What would you guys like to see Prime One do here?
That's a tough question for me.
I think there has to be an option of some kind. I'd be happy if they made a relatively low cost replacement material option where perhaps it was, pay shipping only or pay some nominal, $50, $100 even, something like that. Because look, my statue technically right now is not broken. Right. It's on course to be broken probably. The other thing that I thought was interesting, again, getting back to George and his situation, one of the things from George, he took some real close-up pics of where he feels that his statue has shifted. And this tells me that it's going to get worse because George's is actually worse than mine. I don't know about yours, Mac, but if you look at the toe position of the left foot on on the back edge,
okay,
George's has shifted toward the back.
Yeah.
If you look at mine, it's not that far back.
Right. Go ahead.
That's not good. Just tells me that it's going in a worse direction.
Right. Absolutely. And that's what I've seen. Like mine, my actual statue itself, the body, it's still in the same position that it's been in since I've got it. And I know some people have had some problems getting it, getting the foot keyed in, and they're saying that the actual foot has moved backwards. I think there's a magnet that's actually in his foot that's not pegged in the back, correct?
Oh, that's a good question. I did not know that, if that's true.
I didn't either. I didn't know there was one.
Yeah.
I felt like it was just that front peg that was all that was holding it in there.
Yeah. Right. I just can't remember if there is, but yeah, I mean, depending on how you position it, yes, it could go back. I just kind of put the foot when I had mine, I put the foot, as close to the, the base as possible, and made sure that it was keyed in correctly all the way. And like I said, like I don't like the actual Batman is actually perfect. It's fine. It's just that the cape has settled down on top of the gargoyle and it's causing some pressure there.
Right.
Rose says, I would like them to send me a replacement or recall it. I can't see them recalling it. That would be, it's 2 boxes. That would be just insane.
Yeah.
But do you guys feel like the response, at least the initial response, was, I don't know, I guess some people thought it was a slap in the face, kind of. How did you guys read that when you saw that?
I think when I put more thought into it.
Yeah.
I was
felt rushed.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing.
They should have put more thought into it. In my line of work, you don't blame the customer first and then figure it out.
Right.
And it came across like that. So it should have been, hey, you know what, guys, we're going to make this right. Give us a little bit of time. We're going to keep you apprised of our progress. but we're going to make it right. Sit tight. That's all I had to say, at least to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, Dan, when did you first notice, like, when did you notice yours? Did you look at it like after
Only when George pointed it out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I have kept an eye on it from time to time. It'll cross my mind when I look at the statue, because people have thought that there could be a leaning issue right from the get-go, right? But to be honest with you, I haven't really noticed. And if it was, maybe it's minor until Joe posted his pictures and I really took a close look at the cape.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then it's just obvious.
Yeah. The comment about the factory, I get it that whenever they tested it, it was fine, and that these things happen, gravity happens. And I think that, I guess my next question to you guys is, what do you feel about sculpted capes going forward? Like I know people are freaking out, well, now I'm going to cancel the Superman one because of the sculpted cape, because I'm worried that it's going to do the same thing. And I think that any statue that has a sculpted cape has that potential to break or to fall off or something, or cause leaning issues. How do you guys feel about sculpted capes going forward after this?
Nothing will happen to Superman, okay, guys? Like, he ain't moving. All right.
Yeah. Well, Jason, you have the
I got the fabric.
right?
I got the fabric cape. So yeah,
You're gonna be fine.
Yeah, I'll be okay.
You're gonna be okay. So I have
I
have the sculpted cape on order. So it's just the pure size of the cape, and how the thing is, it's the pure size of it, and how much how heavy it is what's the cause of it. So if it wasn't as big and as heavy as it was, it really wouldn't be that big of a problem. But it's just
that's a big cape.
Yeah, that's
or maybe even a different pose for the character. I think that some of this pose that is happening too is also part of this. It had been more of a straight up and down type of piece, and that thing keyed in differently.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different. Somebody mentioned in one of the groups somewhere that their Prime 1 New 52 pieces, that was the Superman piece, and I don't know if anybody here has that, but that they did use a lighter material for that sculpt on that New 52 Superman.
Yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. I have that one. It's right here. Yeah.
Okay, and that is a lighter material? It's not resin, it's not polystone?
I think that cape is actually polystone. It's just that it's so much smaller, and it keys in directly into his shoulder areas. But okay. When you talk about that cape and this, you're talking. I can't put it. That cape is really small compared to the.
What about weight? How did it feel in your hand? Did it feel like it was?
It's sculpted. Yeah, that cape is definitely sculpted. For the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's definitely sculpted. It's definitely sculpted. Here, I'll pull it out here for a second. Hold on.
I'm surprised, because I really thought all of that was like a plastic, because it's so shiny. I thought it was, that whole line was like that, but it's interesting to me.
It's not as though Prime 1 isn't, accustomed to doing these things. I was just looking over at Scarecrow. The bottom part of Scarecrow's coat is not, resin. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's that really lightweight material.
Yeah.
They also did it on Azrael's hood. His hood is that same. It's to me, it's plastic. It's a heavy duty plastic.
Yeah.
And to me, that cape still looks good.
Yeah.
The Scarecrow, whatever the bottom half of it is. Let's look at. Let me get you in the large photo here. Let's see. There we go.
All right. Okay. So this is the new 52 cape, and you can see. So it's got.
Yeah, I can even hear it in your hand.
Yeah.
So, but it's got this large key here that pegs into his shoulder area, and these actually go down into the front of his his costume, down. So it has this to support it, and then these go down and support it as well. But this is maybe, I would say, maybe 3 pounds.
Yeah, it looks really light in your hand.
So
it looks solid though.
Yeah, and it is. It's not. It's definitely about. I think it's pretty much the same quality and material of the Hush cape. It's just that the Hush cape is 3 times as big as this.
Yeah.
You know, and it's of course it's off to the side, you know, bellowing over. So like, you know.
So that leaves the question, you know, you mentioned that you're getting the Hush Superman sculpted cape. Are you keeping your pre-order? Are you nervous?
I think I'm very nervous. I'm very nervous. Because the thing is, it's like, you know, when I first got that, I mean, I've had this Hush now for probably 5 or 6 months, I'm thinking. And it's just something that gradually, you know, it happened. So I don't know exactly what, you know, Prime, I know they did their testing, but from what I know, the production piece was a little bit different, correct?
Yeah, it was.
Or the, not the production piece, but
the prototype.
It was a little bit different than what.
Leaning different.
We all got, so.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what they tested or not. Jeff, I noticed you got your Falcon wing over there. Is that same lightweight material?
It's very lightweight, but it's very, very sturdy. It hasn't moved. It's got one peg, keys into the back.
What material do you think that's made out of?
I would say something kind of like a plastic or a resin, but
it sounds like that scarecrow, the bottom part of that scarecrow. It's that same kind of that real hard.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it's very detailed. It looks like metal. So
I mean, if they can achieve that kind of texturing and that to make it look like fabric or make it look like metal or, you know, whatever.
It looks like a carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Material and metal.
To me, I just think that would be a better way for these companies to go, because this is not the last time this is going to happen with sculpted capes. I prefer the look of a sculpted cape to a fabric. Yeah. Like that's one of the reasons why, like I did order the sculpted cape Superman because it would match the Batman. You know, Batman has sculpted, and so I wanted, and even Huntress. I ordered the Hush Huntress as well with the sculpted cape because it would all match. I thought it would look weird if I had a sculpted Batman and then a fabric Huntress. And maybe that's silly to think that way, but that's kind of the way I went. I did end up, just because I don't feel like it fit my collection. It wasn't because of this that I did cancel my Superman Hush sculpted cape. So hopefully somebody on the wait list, hopefully if you're watching, you were the one that got that, because I know it's still very desired. But I know people have worried about getting him in hand, knowing that this could be a potential issue with these heavy capes. But like, you know, what Jeff just showed, I really feel like that could be a great alternative, as opposed to, again, I know that PVC can be very expensive, which again, like we learned on the show with, I think it was Jason Wires that told us about that. But what do you guys think? Do you think that's what they should do in the future, or do you think they should continue to chance it with these heavy capes?
I look my Marcus back here, and it's the wings itself. That's a PVC type material, very lightweight. So I don't have any issues there, because those statues alone, just this whole sculpt, the base, they're heavy. We're talking like 90 pounds, 100 pounds. I mean, I had to take it apart piece by piece to bring it upstairs. I couldn't bring the whole box by myself upstairs, and usually I can carry. Wow. I can carry the Ghost Rider. That was like 85 pounds. I carry that upstairs. I couldn't carry these guys. So I thank the Lord that those wings are like a PVC material, or it would tip over. So I'm happy with that. I have no issues. Plus, it looks really nice. You can see all the little veins and the details and the wings. So it looks really good. It looks like the real deal.
Yeah, in my opinion too. Yeah, in my opinion too. After seeing Hush and, you know, seeing Hush with a sculpted cape, it'd be hard for me to see it with a fabric cape, because I don't know if it would pull off the statue that well. You know,
I agree.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
I think I agree, and I don't know. I mean, the fabric capes that I have from Prime One, they're all very well done. I mean, they're all incredibly heavy and detailed. Like my Batman Noel, like I love that cape.
Yeah.
So, but
I was thinking the same thing, Chris. I was just thinking that same. You asked earlier about how do you feel about, you know, going forward with sculpted cape or not. I was, you know, looking around at a couple of the fabric capes that I have from Prime One. They're really nice. I think for me, like, you know, I think, like Mac was just saying, the hard part would be after seeing. It's not so much the cape is sculpted; it's the way that the cape is set up, right? It's the position it's in. It's that really cool flow. You know, I don't think I can replicate that. I don't think I'm
Right.
But if they had some maybe preformed, you know, plastic rods or something that were in the cape, so that when you you unfurled this thing, that it somewhat took that shape. I don't know. I could be open to that, but.
So I'm all for PVC, I guess, when it comes to.
Yeah, I think that's what it boils down to, Jason.
Well, I do. I was talking with somebody that does work with Prime One, and while there's not an official yet, because they're still needing to test some things out, but it sounds like that they are going to have a solution for us. I don't know exactly what that is at this point, but they are working on it. They do care about the collectors that did purchase this item, and so what they're going to do is they're going to test out whatever their option might be, whether that's a plastic or PVC or whatever. Just the fact that they said that they were going to test it first to make sure it's going to work, that tells me it is actually going to be not just a replacement, or I mean, not just a brush off or something like that. I feel like they really are going to try to come up with something that would fit the statue. Because that's another thing is, to make sure that, like a lot of times whenever a company sends a replacement part, it doesn't always fit the original statue.
Yeah, that's true.
So that
or fit everyone.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so that could be a really big potential issue. But if they say, hey, we're going to come up with this type of plastic, like Jeff's wings that he just showed us, that would fit in that key. And again, I don't know if it would be we're going to send it out to the collectors, or you can purchase this. I'm not exactly sure what it would be. I personally, I don't really necessarily feel like it's Prime One's fault necessarily that this is happening. I think Gravity, you just don't know sometimes that it's going to happen. I feel like, though, knowing how heavy the cape would be, eventually that probably would happen. But hopefully they've learned from this and say from now on we'll do something a little lighter weight. But I do feel like they are going to offer an option for collectors that will make collectors happy. So
yeah.
Anyway, that's what my contact told me.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do you guys feel about that if that was available?
That's good news.
Yeah, I think it's good news. Yep. I just want to say I still love Prime One. I still love them.
The crazy thing,
I don't have a problem.
That's right. I love Prime One too. And the crazy thing about all this, and the timing was just so very weird.
Oh, it's bad.
We'll look at the pictures here in a bit, but the same day they came out with this response, they came out with another version of this same statue.
That was bad.
And so I thought that was incredibly strange that they did that the exact same day. But I mean, I guess, hype is hype. So I'm sure it got a lot of people's attention. But for those of you that might not know, they're going to do a black version of Hush. I thought it would be maybe a different sculpt. Quite frankly, I thought they would do like a limited edition run. This is a limited. I think I already did a preview video.
300, I think. 300.
So it's a low run, and it's not gonna. It only has 2 head sculpts, and it doesn't have the Green Lantern ring. It doesn't have the Smirk head sculpt. But me personally, I like the blue. I'm glad I have the blue. That's the way he was in the Rush comic book.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people don't like the blue and want. Traditionally, I like the black versions better anyway. So I know some people will be excited about it. Although I know people are going to be very hesitant to order with all of this going on. Because the cape is the same. It's the exact same statue, so unless they come out and say, hey, we're going to start making this, we're going to replace everybody's with a plastic cape, and the future Hush release will be this plastic cape. So I'm hoping that's what they do. But
Leaning Tower of Pizza Part 2. Leaning Tower of Pizza. Get ready.
So what do you guys think about them releasing that the same day as this response?
I thought it was pretty. I thought it was. I saw it and I was like, is this real? Is this their response? Oh, you got a leaning statue or some cape issues here? Take a look at this black one. Go ahead and PO this.
Got to, and you can prop them up together to hold each other up.
Yeah. I think it's a really good looking piece, but since I have, the OG, I'm going to hopefully stick with that one as long as it doesn't, topple over or break. So. Yeah.
Well, Cool and Collected says they should have known the properties of the material they use and how they react to heat, humidity, gravity, etc. And I agree with that. And the fact that so many people it doesn't matter where they live, they're having the same issue. So it's not necessarily humidity or heat.
It wasn't humid climates or extremely warm, that was the thing. It wasn't one area of the world or climate. It was all places.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we've seen it before too, as collectors, and kind of this not being a new issue. I think when they if you remember when they first teased that cape, year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever it was, and John was holding that thing, and you saw how big it was, and people sort of lost their minds over that.
Mm-hmm.
There were several people within the group then saying, "There's no way that thing is not going to create some sort of leaning issue."
Mm-hmm.
It was back then when they first teased it that people were like, "There's no way that thing's going to be way too heavy. It's way too big. That's going to cause an issue." So I do feel like there is some onus of not listening to that when it was very first teased. That you could go back and probably read those 500 comments that are on that thread, and they're in there somewhere. That
I think that part of that was when they changed his positioning to center him a little bit more and make him a little more upright from how they had him in the prototype originally. Yeah. I think if they had brought him up a little bit more and centered him a little bit better, it might have worked. But
I mean, that's the thing is knowing Mr. J, he has a art vision of what he wants. He wants something out of the comic book. He wants a certain look, and he's very, very rare to compromise for that. Even if they say like the Bane, people complain about the Bane. He's looking down instead of looking up.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the art direction. They're not gonna go back and change it because that's what they want it to look like. And so some of that might be a little bit of stubbornness, I guess. In terms of, hey, we could still maybe avoid this issue in the future because, like you said, we knew there was going to be some sort of issue. I mean, even whenever I put my Batman in the base without the cape on, I'm still looking at it like, oh my gosh, this thing's still, he's just so crouched and leaning already that something's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. And unfortunately it's proving to be true, but I am really optimistic that Prime One will do the right thing here because there's a lot of collectors that I don't know. I just don't feel like Prime One wants the bad PR with this either, because they have other statues with that are sculpted. So, what's that going to do to their sales? So I'd imagine that they want to rectify this as much as they can, to fix this issue. But
I'm surprised they haven't told me to take my video down.
Yeah. That's right. Well, anyway.
Well, the consumer's always right. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
That's the way it works, right?
Yeah, that's 8-Bit Flea says sculpted cape, sculpt soups might have a problem as well with that big cape all to one side. And that's, again, 8-Bit, I know you joined us a little bit late. But it's one of those things where time will tell. We can't speculate that there's going to be a problem. The thing I will say about Superman is that he is upright. He's straight up and down. So I think the fact that Batman is leaning down and then he's leaning with that cape off to his side,
gravity.
I worry way more about the Batman than I ever would for the Superman.
If he'd just been leaning the other way and the cape going the opposite way, it might have balanced out. But he just, we've talked about it in the group message thing, even when it came out. The pose just always has bugged me. It never looked quite right to me. Something has always looked off.
Yeah. And it's proving to be true. So, again, I hope they fix it. I hope they figure it out. But anybody else want to say anything else about that topic?
Yeah, we beat that dead horse.
Yeah.
Say your prayers.
I was gonna say that.
That's right. So stay tuned to all the Facebook groups and the channels. I'm sure we'll be discussing it. Hopefully, we'll get a response.
Play us out with Smooth Criminal.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Jeff posted a meme with Michael Jackson, leaning, and so that cracked me up. So
Yeah, I saw that. That was pretty funny.
hopefully that they will fix that, and we'll see. But anyway, let's move on to our next topic. That is topic number 2. Spider-Man leaves the MCU. This is a big topic this week. I know we have definitely some Marvel fans in this chat, and so I'm anxious to hear what you guys think. So anyway, so if you don't know, basically Disney bought Marvel. Marvel, though, doesn't own, I guess they don't have the movie rights to Spider-Man. Is this correct?
Correct.
So Disney worked out, but Sony does. So Disney worked out a deal to loan Spider-Man from Sony to put him in Avengers Endgame and Civil War and the Infinity War, right? Those 3. And then also their own independent movies, The Homecoming and Far From Home. And so now they've announced this week that they haven't been able to reach a deal with the producer who's been producing all these movies, Kevin, what's his last name?
Feige.
Yeah, Kevin Feige. That they haven't reached a deal. So what do you guys think? What does this mean for Spider-Man? Is he done, or will he still do his own movies through Sony, or is this just another? Will this be another Spider-Man? We'll get another actor and we'll go from there. What's going to happen?
I want to see the college years of Spider-Man. I don't get me wrong. I love Tom Holland. I think he's a great actor. I just think Homecoming and Far From Home, it's the exact same movie. He just happens to be happens to be out of the country in the second one. But again, nothing against him. I love him. He's a great. If you watch his other movies, he's a great actor. I just think that there's no sense of urgency. Like with Tobey Maguire in the original Spider-Man, there was a sense of urgency there. I don't really get that. I think I see Holland's character as someone learning the ropes, trying to figure things out, which is fine. It's not necessarily his fault. It's the direction that they're going in. But if they went with someone else, I'd be okay.
Well, people have complained that he's basically Iron Man. He's got all these tech suits, he's got all these things.
Yeah, basically.
What about the rest of you? What do you think is going to happen with this?
I think
Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, it's going to be some horrible
There's going to be
movies.
some
Maybe.
shitty Spider-Man movies now.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think that's what's coming. I mean, you look at some of the numbers. Apparently, the deal has been that Sony and Disney shared the production costs at 50-50, and Disney was getting 5% of the global gross off the top and wanted to up that number. And
these movies have done very, very well, right? Blockbuster numbers.
Blockbuster numbers. And so I think, if I'm arguing on Disney's behalf, I would suggest that, look, since you got into bed with Marvel, your movies have gone blockbuster and before they sucked, or at least from a performance standpoint. So I don't think they're out of line. Now, I don't know what they asked for, but I don't think they're out of line asking for more. I just think that the problem is we're going to see, what is it? Lather, rinse, repeat on what what we've seen so far, that's just bad.
Well, I think for the actual Spider-Man movies themselves, and I read this somewhere, is that Disney was asking for a cost sharing, just like you said, Dan, in terms of that 50-50 split, but that would create a 50-50 in profit sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And Sony just made $1.1 billion off of Far From Home, and they're like, well, no, we want to keep that other $550 million that would be ours that we wouldn't want to have to share with Disney on that. So this just comes down to money. I mean, which everything does, but I think it's really. I think Disney kind of has to give a little bit because they've centered a lot of their universe around this character, right? I mean, Endgame, Tony Stark's motivations, that whole relationship, and then I have not seen Far From Home, and I don't know how they tidy everything up, but Happy was in that, and at least, and whatever that Nick Fury and all of those characters. I don't know how, if they've really put that much into this character and building this universe around the continuation of this character, and then Captain Marvel and those being the next iteration. I don't know how they back away from that at this point and retcon it as something different.
I'm in the same boat. I have not seen Far From Home yet. For those of you that have, could they continue on without Spider-Man? Is he really important, integrated or integral to the story, or could they just let him be off in the sunset into another universe?
Good question. I think everybody needs to stop being bullies and work things out. That's what I think. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the fan response, they'll have to. I mean, I know it's money involved in everything, but the fan response will probably bring something together. I don't see it lasting too long.
Well, it's been interesting because everybody's kind of blaming Sony, and then of course Sony tweets or something in response and say, hey, this was Disney. Disney wasn't willing to negotiate, and so they're trying to put it on Disney. So I do find that pretty interesting that it's just going to be bickering. Some people say that this was all a ploy by Sony to try to leverage Disney to pay up and get that backlash. I don't know. And I even Tom Holland apparently unfollowed Sony today on Instagram. It's like it's just silly, but I think at the end of the day, I think they're probably going to try to work out something because there's too much money to be made on both sides, and if they don't work together, I'm afraid, just like you guys said, and I don't know if they would go with a different actor or what, but Sony,
Marvel Disney couldn't. I mean, if they don't own the movie rights to Spider-Man, he's just gone from their universe, right? Yeah. If they're not working together, they don't own the rights. The Marvel Disney universe, the MCU as it exists today, has really got to shift gears.
But whose actor is Tom Holland? Like, is that Sony's actor or is that Disney cast him? Or
right, yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Because that's what I just don't know. Like, if the deal doesn't go through, then do they have to cast somebody different? Do they have to start over? And we know from the past that hasn't really worked out for them. I mean, I personally like the first three films. Like that, I really liked those first, Tobey Maguire films. But it'll be real interesting to see. But what do you think?
Toby's coming back, guys.
Who? Toby?
He's coming back.
He's got to get in shape.
He's back.
About 44.
He's back here. He's back here.
Yeah, that ship has sailed.
He's back here pulling the strings behind the scenes. That's what he's doing.
He might be a little bit old for that.
Yeah, I feel like we're talking about soccer. I feel like we're talking about professional soccer. This guy's on loan. 6 months here, 6 months there. That's what it feels like with Sony and Marvel. But it feels like I'm talking about soccer with you guys.
But when have you guys ever seen anything like this deal? Like this, I've never seen a movie borrow another character or a studio borrow another character from another studio. Like that to me is extremely rare. Yeah. So we're in uncharted territory with this. But to me, I just feel like you said, I feel like Disney has a lot riding on this with their future movies.
Yeah, they tried to keep that secret for Civil War to bring the character in as kind of a surprise, and it leaked out. But I do believe that the MCU people were the ones that picked Tom Holland. But I don't know if he is employed by Disney or Sony. So I don't know who cuts the check for Tom Holland. So,
well, I guess time will tell.
But I know he is working on a movie right now with the Russo brothers.
Yeah, I'm sure. Don't get it twisted. I mean, it's going to be about money. It's also probably going to be somewhat about ego. Is anybody willing to give on their side? And I don't know. You got some executives, and then you get the lawyers involved, and the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. We'll probably never know the real truth behind it, but yeah, I don't know. It's ugly. Beyond just Spider-Man, though, think about like anything else. I mean, they wouldn't come to an agreement on, I don't know, Deadpool, X-Men, anything like that. All the characters that Tim loves, right, and that he would probably would want to see part of this bigger universe. And Sony feels like they can make $1.1 billion on Spider-Man by themselves, regardless of who's behind there. Then they're going to do that if they don't feel like they need Disney. They feel like we got the character. People care about the character. People are going to go watch the movie. I don't know. That's why I feel like
they might make it. They might make that money one more time.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, because if they start throwing out
one more time, if they get him to be in one more movie,
sure.
But will they get everybody else involved in the movie? No.
Well, that's the problem, right? I mean, Sony's going that route.
The meat of the movie won't be there.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's going to run into the same problem that Disney would have on the other side, right? And that they won't be able to leverage any of the Avengers characters, any of the Avengers storyline, or Infinity Saga coming out of that storyline. And their last movie was as tied into that as Infinity Saga was to that, to him. So it's kind of, I think it worked both ways. I think, but I hope they come together.
8-Bit Flea says, "Who's going to carry the MCU now? No more Iron Man or Cap." That's a good point.
Good question.
It's a great one. Joe Caramello says Tom Holland. By the way, a lot of people in the chat are saying that it was Sony that picked the actor. Disney wanted somebody different. And so I'm going to go off of what they say. And Joe Caramello says Tom Holland was contracted for 6 movies. That contract is through Sony. So that would tell me that there would be at least, 2 more movies? 2? Have they done 4?
Well, I don't know if that includes like
no, that's 5.
War. And
one
then
more.
Civil War.
Yeah.
There'd be one more if you count those 3 MCU Disney movies.
Cruise Crusader says he can be easily written out of continuity for future films. They did a bunch of films without him. It sucks, but it can be done. So, here's a Garfield is greater than Holland. No need to lie about it.
Agree, AJ.
Yeah, my 4-year-old daughter would probably agree with that too.
I didn't think those movies were bad. I thought they were, they started introducing the Sinister Six. That would have been cool. Now, this is Master Pizza is saying Sony didn't choose Holland. Russo brothers did. Sony just had.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, there
would not have been in Civil War if the Russos didn't say so.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Cool and Collected says there's 2 more movies with Tom, so we shall see. Interesting. Well, time will tell on that. Hopefully, in the next few weeks, we'll hear announcement from Disney that they've worked it out or whatever. So, hopefully, that'll be the case. But anyway, one other thing before we do pictures real quick, I do want to hand it over a little bit to Lawrence because there was some exciting news this week in terms of He-Man. And I know that Lawrence is a massive He-Man fan. And actually came from Kevin Smith, of all places, who is one of my favorite directors and actors. So, Lawrence, what did he reveal this week?
Yeah, so this past weekend they had the annual Power Con event, which is a con that's specifically for Masters of the Universe and even She-Ra, the Princess of Power. And it was basically revealed that Kevin Smith is signed on to executive produce and be the showrunner for a new Masters of the Universe animated series, which will pick up right where the old 1980s series left off. They're going to dive into really pick up from that series and dive into what potentially might end up being He-Man and Skeletor's final battle. They're going to look at other side characters and pick up on their backstories and pick up on more of the He-Man Skeletor feud. And it's really exciting news. It's an animated series. It's also executive produced by Rob David, who is I think one of the guys who wrote one of the latest comic book iterations of the Eternity War. Along with Dan Abnett, or he at least ever saw that. and that was a really great series. And he's done some other work with different properties like Ninja Turtles and some other stuff. So he's very familiar with the type of genre of the 80s, 90s cartoons. There will be new character designs according to Kevin Smith. So I think you'll get a more modern take on those characters in terms of how they look. So pretty exciting stuff. In conjunction with that, Mattel is, they're going to release a new toy line. And there's just a lot of exciting things happening with Masters of the Universe right now, including the plans for a live action movie. So both the animated series and live action movie right now are slated for the 2021 time frame. So pretty cool.
So basically 2021 is going to be the greatest year of your life.
Yes, absolutely. The greatest year of my adult life. No doubt about it. It seems like they reboot Masters every 20 years. I mean, they did this show. They started the show in like 82, 83. They redid it in 2002. And now again, almost 20 years later, they're gonna revisit it again. It's called Masters of the Universe Revelations.
That's exciting.
So, yeah,
well,
looking
if you're
forward
excited about that news, smash that like button. Show these guys that you're enjoying the show tonight. So I'm just really excited because it's been a long time coming. I think for a lot of collectors, and I'm sure there'll be all kinds of merch, going on. Relaunch of that, but I think with Kevin Smith involved, it should stay pretty true to that old series, don't you think?
Yeah, I think he's a fan. For sure. And so I think that's an exciting piece of it. I think a lot of people either love Kevin Smith or you hate Kevin Smith. And I'm more in that camp of, I really enjoy a lot of things he's done, and he's really done a lot of good comic book / pop culture type stuff. I mean, if you've read his Daredevil run and some of the other things he's done, he really gets in and understands these characters. So I have a good feeling about how he'll kind of approach this and how he'll take to understanding these characters.
It's pretty exciting. It's really very exciting. Well, let's see. About ready to wrap up for tonight. Do you guys want to look at pictures real quick? There's not that many tonight.
Yes, check them out.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Make sure I got screen share on.
Everything yes. No, bye.
Okay. Let me know if you guys are seeing the pictures large.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this was the first one that we talked about. This was the kind of weirdly timed reveal of Batman Hush. Again, I thought they would do a second sculpt with this particular one, but they did keep the exact same sculpt. What do you guys think about this one being painted the way it is?
No.
That was quick, Jeff.
You said no.
It just doesn't. It's not the same in black and gray to me. It's kind of dull.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say nay.
Yeah, it does lose something.
I think a lot of that shading of the different blue, and that you lose it.
Yeah. I agree with you, Chris. I kind of was thinking similarly, where I thought they might do something a little bit different with the sculpt. And I think they should have taken the Hush name off. I mean, Batman by Jim Lee or something like that. And
yeah, absolutely.
Throw a couple of new elements in it. And I think, I would have bought this all day long, leaning issue aside. I would definitely have been in for another third scale Jim Lee Batman, but
me too.
Not just a repainted cape and cowl, and
it kind of goes back to even like the black version they did of Superman that they've revealed.
Yeah,
that one didn't have the cape; it was different head sculpts. That one felt like a new statue, even though they reused the old one basically.
Yeah.
But they could have even with this one maybe made an unmasked portrait or something different.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they kept it the exact same. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm with Dan. I think they should completely remove the Hush name off of it.
Yeah.
Because it's not really, it's not as many, if you're into the comics, that's not Hush. That's not a Hush It's not
Exactly.
Hush.
Did they take the name off of the Superman?
I
can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Because he never looked like that in Hush. Like that was not a Hush version of him at all. But
yeah.
I don't know if they had that labeling on there or not. But
yeah,
I think we're all in agreement. It would have been nice to have a second sculpt.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, you have the cape. So, I think a lot of collectors are going to be incredibly leery about buying him because of that right there.
Yeah.
Until they get this figure. I mean, but even so, unless they come out and say, hey, we're going to replace this one with whatever solution they come up with. This is going to be one of those things where people they're not going to pre-order. They're going to wait till it comes out.
Right. Yeah.
So this was another reveal. Some people saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, but this is the cheetah, and it's by Tweeterhead. So I wanted to throw this one in there. They threw these pictures up today on their site, the Tweeterhead fan site on Facebook. What are you guys thinking of this one? I think she looks really great.
Yeah, I think it looks pretty good.
It does.
Yeah. That one looks great without the hair.
Is that now? I don't know this character very well. Is that more of the traditional look, Jeff?
I think that's how I remember her looking in the 70s.
Yeah.
Which character?
Paint looks good here. I'm really impressed with the paint.
The video I saw of her from their booth at San Diego, the spots look great.
Yeah, she's cool.
So the only piece that you had to compare this to is the Sideshow one, right?
Say that again.
The only one to compare this to would be the Sideshow. Sideshow has a quarter scale, right, of this character, right?
So. Is it an older piece? I can't remember.
That's what I think it was released last year.
That's pretty.
I can't picture it.
Here, let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, it just sold out not long ago, I think.
Did it? Okay.
It was a premium format.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What's the scale on this one?
This is their.
This is 1/6.
Yeah, 1/6.
Superpowers line.
Yeah. Chad, I will say, since we have Tweeterhead up, Chad did have a video up this week. He's really behind with the schedule of statues getting here on time. So he did want to let everybody know that Tweeterhead's going to slow down a little bit. They're not going to preview and pre-order as much because they want to make sure that they're getting the statues out on time. The Superpowers line is still very strong and will continue, but they are going to slow down a little bit to ensure that collectors are getting this when they're supposed to be getting it from the factories. He did say that they have had, he's had meetings with the factories and to try to get that all cleaned up. He is still a one-man crew, so I believe he's hired somebody to help, and he will be revealing that soon. But just so all you Tweeterhead fans know that they're still going strong, but they're going to kind of slow down a little bit, which I think is probably smart. Oh, there's some more. There's the other head sculpt there.
That's pretty.
Okay, so I did a video about this. This is another kind of a controversial topic. This is a 1/10 scale Batmobile. I think this piece is absolutely beautiful. It is gorgeous. It is done by Iron Studios, who does outstanding work. My biggest issue was for a 1/10 scale product. It retails for what you see here. It's $1,000. I was expecting it to be $450, $500, somewhere around there. But as other people have pointed out to me this week, and I really didn't realize it was the same scale, but the Prime 1 Batmobiles, like the Arkham Knight that they came out with, that was also 1/10 scale, and it was like $1,500, which I feel like that is overpriced for what it is. I have not seen it in person. People did say that it's a fairly sizable piece. What do you guys think about the price on this? Do you think was I crazy by disputing this, or do you feel like it's justified?
I'll pay $2,000 for it. No, I like it. I don't know if it's $1,000, but I like it. I like it. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's a great piece.
I was thinking it was like I was thinking maybe $7 for all of it.
Even $700, I could see.
So
yeah, I feel like the price is good. I'm not going to pay that for it, but I don't.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not
I don't
either.
I don't know that it's wrong.
Right. So what I was going to say is that you know, from like Hot Toys came out with that. I remember that they had their model like that was released probably.
And it's huge.
Yeah,
big piece.
like I love that thing, and I wish I had it. So, seeing this thing, I kind of was like, you know, thinking that maybe that, you know, I would possibly get it until I saw the price.
Yeah.
And then, so, but you know, I like it.
You could get the Hot Toys one for cheaper than that.
Yeah.
Mac, I was exactly the same thought as you. Like I
Yeah.
thought, man, because I always thought that Hot Toys would be amazing. I didn't know exactly, especially with my old Batcave, I didn't know how I'd fit it into that space.
Right.
But I always wanted it. I thought it was awesome looking. But again, you know, you're getting a lot bigger scale piece. Of course, some people have said, well, it's not made of polystone or it's not plastic, or it would be made of plastic or whatever material they use for that. But and I love the base on this. And now, just so you know, out there, you can buy the Batmobile separate. And I believe it was $700 for just the Batmobile.
Yeah.
Really?
Without the base or Batman. So
Does Michael Keaton say, "I'm Batman"? Does he say that? If he says that,
that'd be pretty cool if it like lit
I'll
up.
buy
And
$2,000.
For $1,000, Michael Keaton should come in dust.
that'd be pretty awesome. But this is definitely a piece I wanted for my collection, but I just can't justify that price tag.
Yeah.
I hope it's not a growing trend because, like I said in the video, Iron Studio, the pricing on a lot of their 110 scale has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, really, you know, $100 ish, sometimes 120, but like, and even some of the ones with larger bases and stuff have been very reasonable. So that's why I was just kind of shocked by this piece. And I know I'm not the only one out there, but anyway, I still think it's a great piece. And I really appreciate all the work that Iron Studios does. But hopefully
Some of the prices on their 110s have been creeping up some. Their
Like this.
in-game 110th pieces, some of them were pretty pricey. Like the Thanos, there were two versions, and one of them was over $200.
do you feel like that's just because Thanos is so much bigger than like Black Panther or Iron Man?
Maybe, but the one from Infinity War was quite a bit cheaper, and it had a separate piece base that had, you could do different display options with the base. You could one piece of the base or two other pieces.
That's cool.
I
Well,
feel like there were more options with it, and it was probably $50 cheaper.
I guess just like anything, you know, every month it seems like prices continue to go up. So I guess we couldn't be too surprised. But just for something this scale, I really felt, I don't know, I just felt like it was not justified. But anyway, we'll move on. This is Batman Beyond. We haven't had a chance to talk about this. This is 1/4 scale by Sideshow Collectibles. It is up for pre-order right now. I'm not a Batman Beyond fan, but I think this is really impressive. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's impressive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's cool.
I'll stick with the Prime one though.
Yeah. This is sculpted by Daniel Bell, of course, and you know he is kind of the rock star of sculpting right now.
The hardest working man in sculpting right now.
Big time. Like it seems like everything Sideshow's putting out, it has been done by him or Martin Canale. You know, both those guys are really putting out a lot of great stuff right now. Especially with like the Batman line, but this one is impressive. I know a lot of people are really excited, and the alternative, the exclusive head, is the animated series head. So I could see this one being real popular.
Yeah,
with a lot of collectors.
I love the base.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
base
like
is
this
It has
cool.
a really cool Art Deco building.
I think I have a
looking.
close-up of that one. Yeah, here it is.
Very cool.
Kind of like a snake's head almost, or something.
Oh, like a cobra.
Now, do you think though? I mean, I don't know. There's not a lot of connection there.
I worry as soon as I saw this and the angle of
Yeah.
it. I saw it. Same thing, Lawrence. I was just like,
Yeah.
this thing scared me.
I can't remember which group it was or which Facebook group, but Daniel Bell actually responded to somebody's who was voicing that concern. I wish I could remember which group it was in. And Daniel himself commented and said there's a steel rod that runs all the way from the base up through that flame, up through his leg into the body. And he said, don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I saw that too.
Well, I'm sure.
oh, you
he
did?
knows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
don't
maybe
remember the group either.
well, hopefully it'll be okay then. I mean, I'm sure he's seen the engineering firsthand. So,
Yep.
this was another one that's up for pre-order here recently, and this was also at San Diego Comic-Con. This is Iron Studios Daredevil. I think this looks really great. Some people had concerned about like what the actual size of it was. You know, when they showed at Sideshow, it looked like it was maybe a little bit tiny. Have you guys seen this, or do you guys know if it's true 1/4 scale?
Victoria and I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con. It's beautiful. I think that's one of the best Daredevils I've ever seen. In my opinion, my humble opinion. Really, really.
I really like it. I don't know who it's sculpted by though, but I do think it's really well done. I love the stained glass. I think I've got a picture of that here, but there's the full statue.
It's got a beautiful base.
It's is it pretty similar to the Daniel Bell Sideshow sculpt? Right?
No.
It's not? Oh, the pose is different.
The pose is a little different.
The pose is a little different. The suit is completely different.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I actually like the design on this suit better than the Sideshow one.
Okay.
I think I do too.
This
It's
one's
nice
a little
texture.
more comic book accurate.
Gotcha.
I really like too that so many of like my Prime One statues, like the stonework's super dark.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that it's more of this like sepia tone color.
Yep.
Because then it really makes him pop more.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So I do like that stone look. I think it looks really nice. But congratulations to anybody that has him on pre-order, because I think you're going to be real happy with him.
I might get it. I don't know. Now the more I'm looking at it.
We're bad influencers, I tell you.
Go ahead and live pre-order.
Just
There you
go ahead and
go.
do it. Go ahead and do it right now.
Do what PJ would do.
Do
Oh,
it.
PJ's already ordered 5.
I believe it. That's
Join
another,
him, Mac.
it's
Yeah.
another one from Iron Studio. I think he
I'm
retails
go ahead and help everybody out here in just a second.
Oh no.
Do that.
This is Iron Man from Endgame, and this is I believe he's like $155 for him. 1/10 scale. Very iconic scene in the movie. I think they did a pretty good job with his likeness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, again, for what they get out of their 1/10 scale is really amazing.
Crazy.
You can really see all the damage here. They've added some effects clearly, but like look at the weathering here. I mean, all the paint looks, for something like this size, I'm just amazed what they're able to do.
Yeah.
Because this scale is not really all that easy to paint. I'm just really impressed with what Iron Studio is doing with these, and I love that they're fairly affordable for people and have they don't take up a lot of room. So
Yep.
you definitely get a bang for your buck. This is moving on to Prime One. Again, this is up for pre-order this last week. This is the Red Sonja piece. We did see her at Wonderfest. What we're looking at here is the regular. With the regular, you do not get the cape or the fuzzy boots or the extra accessories. I actually prefer the regular better. I think it looks good without the cape.
Wow.
What do you guys think about this piece?
I think this is great. I mean, it's I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot too. I think it's awesome.
The skin on her is just that they just keep improving the skin textures on this with this clear resin. This is the version you actually get real fur on the deluxe, and you also get, I think I have a picture of, you get the sword and the axe.
That's cool.
So you get a little different look on her.
I like the axe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the axe is cool. This is a piece that I it's like if I ever got a piece outside of Batman, like this is one I would consider, but I don't know where I'd put her.
Yeah. I like her face sculpt a lot. I mean, I think that's, if they're able to match that, which Prime One usually does on their paint,
Yeah, they'll be.
I think that's a knockout. Yeah.
This will either, I mean, it might even be better because this is the way that's what Prime One does.
Right.
But yeah, here we're seeing that with the cape. The cape is cool. I just don't feel like it adds as much
Yeah.
to it. But I love the
I
snake.
think it's better without the cape.
Yeah, I do too. Here, let's see if I can go back. Yeah, I just feel like it's better without the cape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we
Very
got?
nice.
Really pretty.
And even like the splatters, like just skin texture looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can really see. Look at the skin.
Whoa.
That's the deluxe size of the sword.
That's cool.
There you can see the axe up in the air a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might have been all of them. Let me double check here. I think that was all the new ones from this week.
Did you have pictures of the
Really?
Batman, Joker, or did we do that last time?
The Iron
Maybe we
Studio
did
one.
that.
I think we did that one.
No, the
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did that briefly last
the Prime
show.
one. Maybe we did. Okay.
The dragon.
No.
Talking
Yeah.
about the dragon
Nicole-
one.
Victoria says hello.
Hey,
Hey,
Victoria.
Victoria.
Hey, I want to say you are
Victoria.
doing a fantastic job. You're going to put me out of business.
Yeah.
Put us all out of business.
Yep, shutting my channel down now.
So
I
tell me,
love the Doctor Strange video. You guys killed it.
why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Uh,
Yeah.
Don't be shy now.
No, she'll open up here in a little bit.
So are you, let me ask you, do you like all of these statues as much as your dad does?
I don't know. I really like the last one. It's really pretty.
Now the ones that I just saw
Oh, the red
recently,
funnel.
you were doing Disney ones. Are you a big Disney fan?
I'm a big, 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 big Disney fan.
Well, that's awesome. Me and
That a
my
girl.
family, we are big giant Disney fans. We go twice a year if we can to Florida, and we even started our own Disney channel called Midwest Mouseketeers. So if you ever want to check out what we do at Disney, you can check that out. That's our other channel. So anyway, I'm glad to know that you're a Disney fan like me. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I'll definitely check it out.
All right, good. Well, you're doing a great job on your channel.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Keep it up. That's awesome.
she loves being on camera. That's for sure.
Well, there you go. That's good. You got a good smile for camera. That's for sure. But yeah, looking at the photos, there wasn't a ton this week. There hasn't been a lot. I think there's obviously a slowdown before New York Comic Con. Last thing I'll ask before we go, what do you hope, since we're real close to New York Comic Con, what would you like to see from them?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I'm
Another Sideshow.
Say that again, Dan.
I'd love to see another Rogue from Sideshow. I don't know if we will, but
Another.
Prime
I
One.
thought you meant another X-Men rogue. I thought, another Batman villain for.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing it maybe like a Nightcrawler or something. It'd be cool. But then again, I don't want to see anything, just like I said last time, because I don't want to pre-order anything else.
That's fair.
I have a feeling they're going to do a Nightcrawler. I have a really strong feeling about that.
Yep.
But we'll see, I guess.
I think there's no Cyclops.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Cyclops?
Yeah.
I think Cyclops will be coming soon.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he's definitely coming.
I'd like to see them do a Beast.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be nice.
I could see that. I think that they're going to have another Batman villain.
Yeah.
I feel like they will. I think I really do strongly feel like they will do all of those characters off that art print.
Yep.
How many more are left out of that?
You got
You gotta
Riddler,
do-
Penguin, Two-Face, Man-Bat, and Clayface, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and I'd buy all of them.
Get them all.
Man-Bat would be so cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'd love to see Prime One do a Man-Bat.
I know there's somebody in the chat that definitely wants a Man-Bat.
Man.
They've been messaging
I
me.
love Man-Bat.
I think it's Ryan Cochran. I think that's who is wanting the Man-Bat really bad. So, Ryan, if you're still in the chat, hopefully they have that for you too. So that'd be cool. What would you like to see, Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Chris. I mean, I think seeing more of those rogues would be awesome. I don't know if there's another on the hero side of that we should see, like if they would do like a Martian Manhunter or a Hawkman or something like that, finish out, kind of the Magnificent Seven, if you will. That would be kind of cool if they did premium format of one of those characters.
Be awesome. A lot of people are in the chat. Edwin Diaz says Solomon Grundy. Jesse Hernandez would like to see the Riddler. Max says #ManBat. I like it. That's somebody said Hush. I'd love to see a Hush, man. I'd love to see that. I would love to see some Prime One pieces at that event. I know. I think XM Studios is going to be at New York Comic Con as well. So be interesting to see what they have in their booth. But
I want a 1/3 scale Big Daddy and Hit Girl statue. That's what I want. I've been asking.
Oh man,
yeah, that'd be cool.
I would love to see something like that.
That'd be cool. Well, it's going to be here before we know it. It's coming up this October, so I'm really excited about that event, and I'm excited for those of you that get to attend that event. And so, hopefully,
y'all are going to have a killer time.
Say it again, Jeff.
I said you guys are going to have a killer time. That will be a lot of fun.
We're still trying to get you there.
I'm just going to create drama.
And have a couple drinks too. Why not?
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Well, my goal tonight was to keep this to an hour. We went a little over 120. So especially Lawrence, thank you for sticking it with us. I know you had to go. But anyway, thank you guys very much for being in the panel. It was a great conversation tonight about the leaning issue and the MCU. So I definitely wanted to hear your thoughts. And so thank you guys for sharing that with me. Thank you for JW Statues for being represented here tonight. Thank you very much. Keep doing what you guys are doing. So
we're going to keep on rolling. We're going to keep on putting the best videos we can for you all to watch. And we're having a good time. If you're having a good time, we're having a good time. That's why we look at it. So
well, that's awesome. Definitely check out their channel. Definitely check out Mac Collections as well on YouTube. Mac, do you have anything coming out soon here?
I'm working on a few videos right now. I'm actually editing a few down right now. So hopefully I have those up here within the next couple of days or so.
Good. We'll be on the lookout for that. Always enjoy your videos as well. And for the rest of the gallery, thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you also to everybody in the chat. You had some great conversations with us tonight, so I really appreciate it. We should be back in a couple weeks for I think it's episode 20. So thank you guys very much for watching.
Before we go.
Oh, sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
I get my green arrow tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
So I'll try to do a live unboxing on the Facebook channel. I'll probably be tomorrow evening sometime by the time I get home and get settled and everything.
Absolutely.
So I'll try to do a good time after everybody gets home and kind of gets settled in.
That's awesome. You can join us on Facebook, Batman Statue Collector, Brotherhood of the Bat. That's where it'll be. There is also a Batman Statue Collector page. That's not where it'll be at. So definitely join us on the Brotherhood of the Bat so you can see Jeff's. Because that, man, I'm so excited for you. Like that, I've seen the photos and it seems like it's a home run hit for Sideshow. So I'm really excited. Anybody else picking that one up, or is it just Jeff?
I almost picked that one up, but I was close. Yeah, that's a very nice piece. It came out great.
Yeah, the classic portrait sealed it for me because that was just how he looked when I grew up reading the Green Arrow and Green Lantern. They were in a comic book together when I was a kid. I had the stories where they were traveling cross country together. So those were just great stories.
Yeah, it turned out so well, and I'm just so happy for collectors that bought it. So, so definitely watch that live unboxing tomorrow night. Also, if you haven't seen Dan's featured collector video, definitely check it out. I think it's a couple videos back. So definitely check that out because his collection's amazing. If you haven't had a chance to see it, and I can't wait to see your collection expand and grow because it's only going to get better, especially with all your art prints, and it's just awesome.
Oh my God, too many POs. I had to post that in the group yesterday.
I still need to respond on mine because
it's stacking up.
Yeah. And Lawrence, your collection is still work in progress. How are you getting there? Are you about to a happy point where you're at, or are you still working on yours?
Yeah, no, pretty much still finishing up. Tweeterhead Batman should be here soon. So that'll be exciting. And then the PCS He-Man, and then there a few fan art Masters of the Universe pieces out there that I may track down. So
I did tag you. I don't know if you saw it. I did tag you in a post. Somebody was selling some Masters of the Universe stuff.
I saw that. Yeah, appreciate that.
The ones you were interested in, but anyway.
Yep.
Real quick, hey Lawrence, I've got
Yep.
that He-Man or whatever that is that has Dolph Lundgren in it. It's in my queue, man. I'm gonna watch it.
All right, man.
Oh, that's a great thing.
The
I'm
movie?
gonna watch it. Well, yeah, the movie.
80s.
You've never
The
seen
80s.
it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I'm
What?
gonna No, I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
Isn't Monica in that?
It's
for
one of
Friends?
those. It's so bad, it's fantastic. I mean, it's really not great.
Literally
it's
nothing to do with He-Man Masters of the Universe, but it's still
I
fun.
know. I know.
yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
still
watch it.
fun, and Frank Langella as Skeletor does a hell of a job. He created a lot of those lines. He's got some really good lines in there, so it's good stuff.
Mhm.
I'll watch it just for you, buddy.
He is phenomenal. Like he is.
Yeah,
He's a great.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
he
Yeah.
was a great Dracula. If you guys ever get a chance to see his Dracula from like 1978 or 1979.
He's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was, one of my favorite movies from the 90s is Dave.
Oh,
yeah. Where he has like the fake president, and he's kind of the bad guy in it. He's phenomenal in that film. So yeah, if you haven't seen his work, he's really great. But Skeletor, man, that's my favorite role of his. It's just amazing.
Cutthroat Island too.
Oh, he was in that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. He's the big bad.
Anthony
Yeah.
Davis, right? Cutthroat, yeah.
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 Oh my gosh, I haven't thought of that movie for a long time. That's cool. That's awesome. Well, so anyway, here's your homework, Mac. Watch that movie. We'll report back to the next show.
Yeah, 'cause isn't Monica from Friends, Courtney Cox,
Yes.
oh yeah, the movie's really
very
about her.
young in
Yeah,
that.
she was. I think she had just done the Bruce Springsteen video. I think that was her first thing
right.
she did,
Right.
movie.
and then she went right into that. And of course, like I don't know the actor's name, but it was the bald guy that was in Back to the Future. He's the principal.
Yeah.
He's like every 80s movie. He was that same character.
Yes.
But he did that. So it's just such a weird film, but it's still worth watching.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It's a great
the crazy
movie.
thing, I'm sure Lawrence knows this, but the crazy thing is, I from what I was told, he never says "I have the power" in that entire movie.
He does.
Really?
Oh, he does
When
say
he
it.
gets the sword,
Oh,
he
really?
does say that.
Okay, all right.
He does. He only says that. He never says by the power of grace or anything like that. But he says, "I have the power."
Okay. All right.
But the funny thing about that film is they ran out of money. And the studio shut their shit down, right? So they just shut them down, and they filmed the last scene in complete darkness.
Oh,
So it was supposed to be this like 15-minute long epic thing, and they cut it down to like 2. So
it's all black.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
They filmed, I
right
guess,
on.
like in the parking lot or something.
Oh my god, that is awful.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
So
So I guess I need to
man.
go back and rewatch it too. So maybe
Yeah.
maybe we'll both report back, Mac. All right.
enjoy
Yeah,
that
we'll
awful
both report
movie.
back.
That is, yeah.
That's hilarious. And Drawing Matrix says #Skeletor. Totally agree with that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh, and Masterpiece says we never see Prince Adam in the movie. That is true.
That is true.
That was surprising.
Yep.
That was surprising.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
a He-Man movie that very much does not have He-Man in it. A lot of it. So
Yeah, it's weird.
very weird.
Mostly it was about the teenagers because
Yeah.
I mean I guess that was probably their target audience. Quite frankly, teenagers. But anyway, again, thank you guys for being here tonight. I really appreciate you guys. As always, you guys make this show, so thank you very much. And again, thank you to everybody in the chat for sticking with us. We'll be back in a couple weeks for episode 20. Thanks for joining us. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and check out these other channels. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night, everybody. See you in the back cave. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
See you
Have a
guys.
great night, everyone. That was awesome.
All right, we're ending the broadcast.